My brother's teaching elder Danny Morgan, South Texas Presbytery. Let me respond to something a previous speaker said briefly. They said that atheists do not have consequences in courts. I'm not a lawyer, but I believe there would be precedent to proceed with prosecuting someone under the defamation of character because guilt goes both ways in a court. Now, that's not the main argument I want to make. I would like to make to you a biblical argument because the Old Testament gives us the wisdom to receive testimony of those outside the covenant community. In our case, for non-theists that we are discussing here, by the courts of Israel, in the interest of justice and truth, to uphold the peace and purity of who Israel was supposed to be. Now, the book of Deuteronomy, which provides the provisions of how God's people are to conduct and order themselves in the land of Canaan, even as they encounter those outside the covenant community. Deuteronomy gives Israel the provisions to hear testimony of those outside the covenant community as reviewable evidence against someone accused of a crime in the interest of justice and truth, presumably the accused coming from within the covenant community. Deuteronomy 22:27 addresses this, how the elders of Israel are to respond to the particular cases of when a woman who cries for justice when sin has been committed against her and in the distances of wheat or barley fields cries out and no one is there to hear her. Israel is instructed to receive her testimony and to begin an investigation against the accused. Her testimony becoming reviewable evidence whereby the leaders of Israel may utilize the plurality of wisdom in the shared eldership established by Moses in Exodus chapter 18 to receive her testimony, weighing it as evidence. Now, in the book of Ruth, chapter 2, Boaz, an Israelite, meets Ruth, a Moabite, while she is gleaning in the barley fields of Israel. Ruth, utilizing the provisions that Pentateuch lays out, that those outside the covenant community may glean barley and wheat for basic food provisions. Boaz is in the interest of justice and truth, instructs Ruth to stay close to the Israelite women while she is in the field. Why? Deuteronomy 22 seems to assume that the accused would come from within the covenant community, but Boaz applies the provisions of protection and receiving testimony to a Moabite woman, a woman outside the covenant community. In the interest of justice and truth, Boaz extends the divine kindness and love of God to the vulnerable because our God is a God in the interest of justice and truth extends his care, his protection, his love to those even outside the covenant community by receiving her with the same provision of those within the covenant community. A woman of different heritage, of radically different belief system is given the same opportunity to be heard, to receive justice in the name of truth as those within the covenant community. Fathers and brothers, our God is a God who extends loving protection to the vulnerable, that those even outside the covenant community, the belief system, would be heard and their testimony received, that both justice and truth would be upheld. Friends, the true and greater Boaz is Jesus Christ, who looks to our ultimate interest for the sake of justice and truth, upholding both. Would we be more Christ-like Presbyterians? Vote for the Minority Report. Thank you.